What's up guys, welcome back to Zozo, and I'm the place where we break down the hottest spoilers, go deep into analysis, and uncover the craziest mysteries in the world of One Piece. And today, we're re-diving into chapter 1178, a chapter that might mark a massive turning point for the Elbaf arc, the moment where the real nightmare truly begins. If we follow the batch of spoilers currently circulating, including the title "This is a Nightmare," the cover page showing Kid standing beside a bull, Luffy carrying Brook and Usopp back to Sanji's group, Imu transforming into a pitch-black mass like a walking curse, Domi Reversi failing on both Luffy and Loki, Robin and Saul reaching the library only to find the books gone, Biblo missing as well, Luffy running out of stamina at the end, and Imu returning to Mary Geoise to tell the five elders that he'll be stepping out for a bit. Then it has to be said, Chapter 1178 is incredibly important.
It doesn't just continue the battle in Elbaf, it marks the exact moment Imu begins to lose his absolute strategic dominance.
In simpler terms, this boss can no longer sit in a control room and play the game with a remote. The biggest takeaway from 1178 is this: Imu can no longer win through mechanics alone. Back in 1176, Domi Reversi was revealed to be counterable by reversing the demonized state. That was Oda quietly introducing a weakness. Now in 1178, the spoilers go further. Imu uses Domi Reversi on both Luffy and Loki, and it simply doesn't work. That's a huge escalation. It proves that there are wills so strong that even a demonic contract can override them. In other words, the battle is no longer about who hits harder, it's about whose will is stronger. Against Nika and Loki, Domi Reversi goes from a broken control ability to just a strong skill that no longer guarantees victory. So 1178 should be read as Luffy and Loki are so strong they resist it,
but rather as Oda declaring that the willpower system in One Piece has reached its final stage. Luffy represents absolute freedom.
Loki, as portrayed in Elbaf, is being built up as an ancient, terrifying force, raw, branded destruction. They are completely different, yet they share one core trait. Neither of them allows anyone else to define their fate. And because of that, Domi Reversi's failure isn't just a combat failure, it's a philosophical defeat for Imu. Put bluntly, this ability ran into two certified stubborn monsters and just shut down. Another extremely important detail is Imu transforming into a black form and piercing through Luffy and Loki. If this spoiler is accurate, Oda is clearly revisiting the God Valley motif. Imu isn't just a power user, but an entity capable of invading, enveloping, parasitizing, or assimilating with a host. That's why the chapter title "This is a Nightmare" works both literally and metaphorically. The nightmare isn't that Imu uses a strong attack, it's that he himself is an incomprehensible existence.
Something hard to grasp, hard to fight, and capable of consuming others' identities, but even that form is no longer invincible.
Luffy counters with a Dawn Gatling gun, while Loki, in his hybrid form with Ragnar, unleashes Nibelheim on Imu. One fights like an out-of-control sewing machine. The other freezes everything like he just unlocked a Norse mythology Dulk. This is a huge signal. Imu can now be forced to reveal his hand. He's no longer sitting at a level where he can just watch others fight. Of course, Oda would never let the protagonists win that easily. The spoilers say Imu's black body disappears from the ice, meaning the freezing wasn't a finishing blow, but a way to force a retreat, phase shift, or state change. Classic Oda writing. He gives readers a moment of hype. Oh, they froze him, and immediately flips it by suggesting that what got hit might just be a surface layer, not the true core. So 1178 is likely not Imu gets defeated, but rather, Imu is forced to change how he plays.
And that final line where he tells the five elders he's leaving the castle for a bit is basically confirmation that his true form or core power is about to personally head to Elbaf.
From playing chess online to showing up in person. That's why 1178 feels like a phase shift for the final villain. Before this, Imu fought like a strategist, moving pieces, casting curses, manipulating, breaking minds, a boss behind the curtain.
But after this, if the spoilers are true, he's forced to become a true final boss, acting directly.
And when a final villain is forced to leave the safest place in the world and step onto the battlefield himself, it always means one thing: the entire system has been shaken to its core. Put simply, the house is on fire, so the owner finally has to grab a bucket. On the Elbaf front, Oda does something really smart. He does let all the spotlight fall on Luffy and Loki. The spoilers show Zoro's group basically clearing out the Domi Reversi forces, while Chopper handles the remaining cases. After 1176, fans already suspected Domi Reversi could be countered.
Now 1178 seems to confirm that the Straw Hats aren't just resisting it, they returning it from a battlefield disaster into a solvable problem.
And if that holds true, then Chopper is one of the most buffed characters in this arc. Not because he hits harder, but because he's the only one who knows how to treat the disease. While everyone else is shouting "just beat it," Chopper calmly goes, "Sure, but let me prescribe something first."
The detail about Sommer's recovering and seemingly having no human heart is also huge. Oda might be playing with both meanings.
Figuratively, Summers has lost his humanity, literally. His body or the bodies of the Holy Knights Emu's vessels may have been modified beyond human biology. If it's literal, this ties directly into Vegapunk and the final saga themes. Human vs vessel vs artificial body vs identity. In simple terms, these guys might not just lack morality, they might lack actual organs. Meanwhile,
Robin and Saul finding the library empty with Biblo missing is incredibly important. If the updated spoiler is true that the Owl carried the books away, then Oda isn't destroying Elbaf's symbol of knowledge. He's doing the opposite. He's turning knowledge into something that always escapes oppression at the last second.
Biblo, the old librarian who can enlarge books, hiding them. That's a perfect thematic link. Emu can burn the battlefield, destroy Elbaf cause chaos, but he still can erase knowledge. For Robin, this hits even harder because it echoes Ohara. Books can be hunted, stolen, burned, but they cannot be erased forever. Simple version, you can burn the house, but not the library if the library can run. Another interesting detail. The spoilers say things seem to have returned to normal in Elbaf. I don't think Oda is saying the arc is over. This is likely calm before the real storm. The Domi Reversi army is pushed back, the library is temporarily saved, Emu retreats, it feels like balance is restored. And then Oda drops a bigger bomb. Emu is coming in person. So Elbaf has just escaped Nightmare Phase 1 only to enter Nightmare Phase 2. Like finally catching your breath, and then the boss says, sorry, Phase 2 starts now. Luffy running out of stamina and reverting at the end is also classic Oda. He lets Gear 5 shine at the peak, gets fans hyped, then immediately reminds us, power has a cost. Structurally, this does two things. Keeps power scaling grounded, Luffy can push Emu back, but not destroy him yet. Opens the stage for others, Loki, Zoro, Sanji, Robin, Chopper, and possibly unrevealed players. If Emu arrives while Luffy is drained, Oda is clearly telling us, the final war won't be solved by Nika alone. This isn't a main character carries the team fight. This is a everyone needs to step up fight. So if we look at chapters 11-6, 11-78 as a whole, 11-78 delivers three major messages. First, Emu is no longer untouchable. Domi Reversi has limits, his black form can be countered, and he's forced to adapt. That I am absolute aura, it's cracking. Second, Elbaf is being built as One Piece Ragnarok. Nika, Loki, giants, curses, resurrection, knowledge, everything converges here. This is no longer just a giant arc, but the arc where the 800-year order begins to truly break. Third, Chopper and Robin are being massively elevated. One heals humanity, one preserves history, while Luffy and Loki spearhead the assault. Oda is making it clear. To defeat Emu, you need more than power, you need healing, knowledge, and unbreakable will. Final takeaway. 1178 is not a boss fight chapter, it's a boss exposure chapter. It shows how powerful Emu is, but also proves he no longer controls the flow of the story. And when the final villain is forced to leave his safe throne and step onto the battlefield, that's when the endgame truly begins. Or to put it simply, before Emu was a CEO running things through online meetings, from now on,